Okay, what I'm going to do here is, as I promised last evening, is to run a quick program over course registration. Okay, so what I'm going to do is copy this SQL in and run it, and you're going to be able to see a little bit about the composite and use of dual keys. And that's what you actually have going on in your project too. So let me commence by actually putting in a new database. So I'm going to right click database, new database, and I'm going to actually call this the registration database, and I'm going to say okay. And then we're going to actually execute some SQL commands. So the first command or first table I'm going to set up is actually, and I have to get this out of the way, um, is the create table for students. So I'm going to copy that new query. And as we can see, we have the student social security number, which is varchar 9. We have first name, last name, major, matriculation date, and I'm setting a constraint for the primary key for this table. I'm going to execute it. And it says completion time, problem near 9. Let me execute this again. And I think it's because I had it highlighted, it didn't run. But if I go down here into tables, and we'll see that that is the student table. So that ran perfectly. And what I'm going to do is get the second table. And run a new query. And we can see here we have instructor, social security number. Now here I have character, which is char 9, first name, last name, and a constraint setting the primary key as the social security number for the instructor table. So I'm going to execute that. Commands completed successfully. Then I'm going to go down to my third table here, which is rooms table. I would take particular interest in this table here because this has a dual key. And what I'm going to do is put up a new query. And if we can actually see this, it says room underscore room number in conjunction with the room ID. I'm setting the primary key for actually the what? The room number and the room ID are going to act together in unison as the what? The primary key for this table. So I'm going to execute that command. And I'm going to get the next table, which is the table for courses. New query. And we see that we have course ID, course title, constraint is the, we're designating the primary key for the courses table as this particular field here. Okay, let me get out of there, execute this command. That ran successfully. And then I'm going to get the course offerings table. And this has a lot of constraints in it. And so let me again get a new query here. And we can see that there are a myriad of constraints. Constraints designating a primary key. This again is a composite key because it's using two fields. We also have another key here, which is a foreign key. So this is going to be relating to another table. And it's going to relate to the instructor's table, and the actual field that it's going to is the primary key field in the instructor's table. And then we have constraint here of the rooms. So we have foreign key. And again, this is relating to two fields, which is actually our primary key. And this references to the room and with the room number and the building number. So you might want to take a look at this in order to solve your problem. Okay, so and then we have another constraint in here, which which references the course ID. But I'm going to run this. Hopefully, it's going to run. And yes, it did. And I think I have one more table to get here. And so this is going to be the course registration table. And let me copy that. Do a new query. And again, we have three fields here, which is course ID, course registration, and the student, section ID. This is actually the student social security number in this table, but it's going to actually reference what? It's going to reference the students in the student table on that primary key. Now, what's interesting about this is I ran this code here hundreds of times and never had a problem. Guess what? This particular constraint is not working the way it should. And what happens is that this particular table on the students table is not connected to the course registration table. So if anybody can figure that out, I'll give you an automatic A for the course. No. Actually, what I'll do is I will remember who you are, and we'll see if maybe you can run this on your SQL Express server, and see if you get the same thing that kind of happens here. So anyway, you don't have to do this assignment. This is just for illustrative purposes in helping to solve what? Helping to solve project 2. Because we do have those composite / dual keys going on. And so let me run this. And we see that that was completed successfully. So the tables should all be linked. Now I'm going to go back into the actual tables here and refresh this. And we can see that we have a myriad of tables. And now what I'm going to do is actually create a view. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tables. I'm going to go in and create a new view. I'm going to add these tables. Add course offerings, registration, courses, instructors, rooms, and students. And close this up. And as you will see, the student table is not connected, even though we have that constraint that we put through that should be actually connected to what? To the course registration table, this table here. So this is not connected either, which is somewhat problematic. But we can see that most of all the other tables are connected. And there's a quick down and dirty way to kind of connect these things together. And this is our instructors table, which worked perfectly. And here we have the rooms table, and you can see room number and building ID are connected to what? These two fields here, which are working as a primary key. So for this one, what I would do here is kind of select the student and select the student down here, which is, this is how we're going to tie these together. And you can actually force the connection there. And where would this get connected to? Well, this would get connected to instructors. Let me see here. Course registration, course. Well, anyway, this thing would all be connected to one another. I don't know why that constraint. I didn't. When I ran this thing before, this course registration table was actually connected to one of the other tables here. I can't quite remember which one it was, but I believe it was this one over here, the course offerings table. And we could actually force a join here again, but for illustrative purposes, what you're going to have to clue in on to solve your Project 2 problem is this here with this down here. And the code that corresponded there, so you can actually stop the video right there and kind of look and examine the code. So we have various, all the code is here for you in the video, so I don't think you'll have a problem. Anyway, thank you, and I'm going to just close this video up. And if you have any questions, let me know. But I think you'll be able to solve the Project 2 problem that we ran into yesterday evening. Thank you.